introduced to our fourth week of our brand new minister. And how exciting is this? We're growing inwardly and outwardly and exponentially or whatever. And that's all thanks to our wonderful minister, Joanne. Please come up, love. Or do you want me to get down?
Yeah, I think you should.
Fine. You don't understand this.
All right. Well, what a beautiful day. Now, someone told me it doesn't rain in Camden. And I woke up this morning hearing rain. How interesting. So what's with that? Someone said you only get a tiny bit of snow. Then I heard there's a skiing resort. Anyway, well, good morning. Good morning. Are we ready to have fun today?
Yeah.
If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. And that especially applies to board meetings. Or as my daughter would say, a board meeting is boring, but not ours. We've decided they're not going to be boring. So today's message is kind of one that wraps up the entire month. And what we've been doing is looking at possibility, living in the possibility. And I want to know how many of you received and are actually using your gratitude journals. How many of you? Let's see. All right. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Over here. All right, so are they being of some helpfulness to you, some service, using your gratitude journals? Whatever you are grateful for expands. And this afternoon, a little bit later, after we all have a little something to eat, I'm going to be offering a trick or treat ceremony. And it's just like it sounds. It is not a place where you will be kvetching about all the things wrong in your life. Instead, it's a place for you to let go of the past. Who's ready to let the past is history? Who's ready to let it all go? Because every day is a new beginning. Every day is a new day. So you wake up in the morning, it's like, okay, what will I create today? What grand and glorious adventure am I choosing? And whatever it is, it can get even better than that. It can even get better than that. I love this statement from a book called The Science of Getting Rich. Isn't that a great book? I want to know about the science of getting rich. And this is the quote: "The universe is a great living presence, always inherently moving toward more life and more fuller expression." So we live in a universe that is alive. Think about that. The entire cosmos is alive. And it's responding to you. And within you is the creative energy. The same energy that created the cosmos is breathing in rhythmic measure through you. You are looking through the eyes right now. As you look up here, you are looking through the eyes of infinite spirit. We are infinite beings on an eternal journey. And so as you sit there quietly, the universe is rushing, pouring, streaming, flowing through you as you sit quiet. You know, that's a whole lot of power. And so you individually and collectively, we have the ability to create whatever it is that we would like more of. And so today's message is entitled, Your Roadmap for Expansion, Desire and Discontent. How many of you have something in your life that you're discontented with? Maybe like one thing? Just one thing, right? How about a couple of things that kind of irritate you? Or you could be like, I like to describe it as the 7 dwarfs. How many of you have heard of the 7 dwarfs? The story, right? I'm sleepy, I'm grumpy, I'm dopey. Sometimes I'm happy. We can be like the 7 dwarfs going along in life. And which of the dwarfs are you today? It's very interesting. So the universe is a wonderful, alive presence that is within us and all around us. This infinite presence is now ready to burst forth into a really fabulous new life. As I mentioned earlier in the month, some people believe that the world is falling apart. Do you know how many centuries people have said that to us? The world is going somewhere in a handbasket, a place we don't believe in. That other place that we don't believe in. So is that true, or are we rebirthing? And even you guys, believe it or not, you guys are rebirthing. Aren't you glad you don't have to do it in person? Like us ladies. Us ladies know what that means. I've birthed 2 children. My son was 9 pounds, 4 ounces. The first baby. That was the experience. So you guys are rebirthing also. Rebirthing a new model, a new life, a new planet. That's what's going on. Even though it looks a little messy, just like birth is, we are actually doing something fabulous and wonderful. We are rebirthing. So our roadmap for expansion has to do with discontent and with desire. And many of you know, I'm sure all of you know, when you drive on a road on the freeway, on Highway 1 or I call it I-5, but Highway 5, you notice that there are lines and you drive between the lines, hopefully. Don't you get worried when you're driving behind someone and they're not driving in the lines? It makes me very nervous. The car in front of me is going way over here and then way over there. So these 2 lines on both sides of the road are what keep us centered where we're supposed to be. One side, one of those lines are the lines of desire. All your hopes and your dreams, your wishes for your life, the greater expression of who you truly be. And the other line over here is a line of discontent. All of the sadness and the upset and maybe the anger, or nobody loves me, or there's not enough money, or the not enoughness of life. And between these 2 is what really causes us to be centered. It takes contrast. I lovingly call it contrast. So if something really difficult happens, you can say thank you. Some people have trouble saying thank you. Thank you for the contrast, because it brought you more clearly than you've ever been to where you want to be. So I'm going to begin with the discontent. And what I mean by discontent is not the ego-based discontent that many of us might have, where we're really, it's not very pretty. Not that kind of discontent where you're so befuddled. Anyone ever get befuddled? I had an experience this week of getting befuddled, which I'll share with you in a little bit. So here you are going along with this discontent. I call it divine discontent, and it is very likened unto feeling kind of uncomfortable. Divine discontent means you're going along, but something doesn't feel quite right. Ever have that? So you just, something's kind of bothering you and you don't even know what it is. You're kind of feeling this discontent. And it might have happened, I've asked you to write a vision for what it is you do want in your life. And some people have a little bit of trouble with that. Now, I can tell you for absolutely sure, I have a degree in counseling, and I do counseling with people, and I'll have someone, many, come into my office, and they can tell me, I'll say, what would you like? And they can't tell me what they want or what they like, but boy, can they tell me everything they don't like. I don't want this, and I don't want this, and I don't like this, and I don't like that, and I certainly don't like that. They'll tell me everything they don't want. So what happens when all of your energy and all of your life is focused on what you don't want? You get more of it, right? And so you don't want to build a condo there. But if you experience something that's difficult, you want to say, wow, this has been really difficult, but I'm going to shift it over here to something really wonderful. So you want to get a clear picture of in your mind of what you do want. So I have to tell you about my experience this week. Wow, what an experience. So I'm new to Kamloops, and I have been searching for a hairdresser. So I was having lunch, and there was a young lady who had the most gorgeous blonde hair. She must have been about 22, and I thought, I want to look just like that. So I went up to her, and she gave me the name of her hairdresser, and it was on the north side in the North Shore. So I go, so I get the name, and I call up, and he's this really well-known, I'm not going to say who he is, very well-known hairdresser who was from another country, and he does, you have to wait weeks to get in. So I go in, and he says to me, "You have no style. You have no style in your hair." And he said, "I will help you." And so he actually, what he did, and I said, "I want to keep all of my length. I don't want my hair cut." But all of a sudden, he made it a different color. Now, not the color it is right now, but he made it a completely, I looked like, now I want you to imagine your big toe. I looked like a toe. I did, a big toe. I was all one color, and my face kind of blended in, and I looked in the mirror, and I said to my housemate, "Don't I look like a toe, a big toe?" And she said, "Yes, you do." So I was really upset. I didn't like the color, and I told him, "Okay, I want to show you this, you just have to see this." It took me years for this hair here to grow down to here. Look at what he did, right? Oh. See? And he just starts cutting, and he cuts so fast. He goes, "I just sharpened my scissors." And he cut so fast, and hair was flying everywhere that he actually cut his hand. That's how he's and hair's flying, and I'm just sitting there going, "Oh my God." So when he was done, I looked in the mirror, and I just wanted to cry. I felt so bad. But I already know better than to build a condo there. I don't want to stay there, because the worse it gets, the worse you notice how awful it is, the worse it gets. Yeah. So that was on Friday. So Saturday morning I wake up, and I'm just, really having a hard time still for a little while. And I had this idea. My housemate suggested to me, "Why don't you go to another hairdresser and see if they can help you?" So I called around, and finally I got someone. I just love this young lady, and she had beautiful blonde hair, not the same one as before. But she said, "I can help you." So I went in, and she redid my hair. And so then I was able to shift myself into a more positive place of being. I still want to grow it out, but I kind of like it now. It's like all these different things, and it has like more style, doesn't it? Woo! Yeah. So see, but it wouldn't have done that if I would have kept saying, "I hate my hair. I hate my hair. I hate my hair. I hate my body. I wish I was tall, skinny, and blonde," or whatever you want to say. I wish I was different than I am. The more you love you, the more you accept you, the greater you experience the great blessings of life, the great good of God, really, truly. You have to love you. And sometimes it's not easy when your hair is when you look like a toe. So that was my experience this week. I want to share with you what Emmett Fox said. How many of you have heard of Emmett? Yeah. He's a great New Thought teacher. This is what he said. I love his words. He said this, and he talked about really loving who you are and welcoming the change. He talked about butterflies. That's why I'm wearing butterflies today. I want you to think of what a butterfly has to go through in order to go to the next level. It starts as a caterpillar, right? And it's crawling around, and there's a book called The Very Hungry Caterpillar. I used to read it to my children. Some of you know that book? Yeah. Very Hungry Caterpillar. And it eats everything. And in fact, it ate a hole in the book. You get this book with this big hole in the middle, right? And it's so hungry, it eats everything. And then all of a sudden, this butterfly has this experience where it makes a cocoon, and it becomes something totally different. It actually dissolves itself in the cocoon into this kind of jello. When was the last time you felt like jello? And then it emerges as this amazing butterfly, this beautiful. And this is what Emmett Fox said about it. He said, "To me, the butterfly teaches us the most important lesson that we human beings ever have to learn. You know its story. You know the story. He lived the butterfly, not the butterfly. The caterpillar lived in what seemed to him a very long time as a worm, what we would call the humble caterpillar. And now the life of a caterpillar could be taken as the very type and symbol of restriction. It's all in there, caterpillar. He lives on a green leaf in the forest, for goodness sake, and that is about all he knows. Then one day the little caterpillar finds certain strange stirrings in himself. The old green leaf, for some reason, no longer seems sufficient. He becomes moody and discontented. Ever happened to you? But this is a vital point. It is a divine discontent. And he feels the need for a bigger and greater and more expanded version of himself. And his instinct tells him that is where true desire comes from. There must be fulfillment. And so a wonderful thing begins to happen, said Emmett Fox. The butterfly emerges, beautiful, graceful, now embodied, now endowed with these beautiful wings, and it begins to fly. Instead of crawling around, it takes off in the forest, landing on flowers and trees. A beautiful butterfly has emerged. And I believe that's where we are going, not only as individuals, not only as a community, but also as a world, and also expanding that into the universe. We are emerging into a whole new paradigm of life. And I know that to be absolutely true. So we want to respect the divine discontent. Next time you feel yourself getting discontented, say, it's okay. I can be a toe for a short time, but I know something else even greater is emerging. Something that I will love even better. Who would have thought, when I looked in the mirror after this famous person did my hair, that, by the way, cost $200. How many of you want to pay $200 to have your hair all cut off and you look like a toe? But anyway, it happened, and I know that something great has emerged from it. Something I never thought of. So next time you have divine discontent, remember that something fabulous is coming forward. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. Something wonderful is happening. So that's about discontent. So what about desire? What about desire? On the other line in our highway metaphor is desire. Our dreams, our longings, our desires. And I love those words today from Ernest Holmes. I'm going to read them again because I love them. Free yourself forever from the thought that God or the universe or spirit is pleased with your suffering or with your sacrifice. No way. The world is not better if you are poor, if you are unhappy, if you are struggling. The world is not better for that. In fact, it's our divine expression, our duty, if you will, to be living a wonderful, happy, joyous, healthy life. That's part of our task on being here. Who wants to suffer? Not too many people. No. So in this part of desiring, desire is a great blessing to us. And there's a way to explain this that has really helped me personally. But I'm going to see, ask yourself where you fit in with this. There are 4 ways or 4 possible combinations of expression in a way to play this game. The first one is that, and these are people, this first one really, I think, are people who are depressed. You know anyone who's depressed? Maybe you know someone who's depressed. The number 1 illness of the world. The greatest drug we sell on planet Earth, Prozac. On planet Earth. People are depressed. This is what their life may look like. They have low participation and low attachment. So what that means is they're barely breathing. They don't have anything going on in their life. They're just kind of going along, and they have no desires. My son was clinically depressed. Had no desires, didn't want to work, didn't like any job he ever had. He said, life sucks. That's what you say when you're 16. And guess what he created? That was his experience. He had low participation, and he didn't care about anything. When my father passed away, he left us musical instruments, a piano, all kinds of instruments. I said to my son, which one do you want? He says, I don't want anything. He had no interest in anything. So is it, maybe you have been momentarily in that place. So low participation and low attachment. The next one, see if this one, if you've been there. This one is low participation but really high attachment. Like you feel really bad, but you really want to be different, but you don't know how to get there. Anyone ever do that? So you have kind of low participation. You're not really creating anything, but you really want it to be different. The next one is high participation. A lot of us do this. High participation and high attachment. It has to be my way. I want it my way or it's the highway. Anyone ever do that? Or maybe you know somebody like that. And you can point at them noticing there's 3 pointing back at you. So, high participation, high attachment. And for those, it's like a personality that's called an A personality, where they're really driven, but it has to be a certain way, and they never stop. They're always going, they're always going, they're always going. And there's no time for anything else. They're always too busy. Anyone notice, anyone that recognize that in themselves? I see people laughing. I'm not really talking about you. Finally, the real sweet spot that I love, and this is the place that I like to participate, is high participation. So you're out there creating, but to have low attachment. In other words, you allow things to be. And if they don't turn out exactly the way you want, you say, okay, let's see what great and fabulous thing will happen from this apparent experience. That some great good, the infinite presence of God is always wanting and always desiring and fully expressing through us. And even we're the ones that decide it's not so good. We don't like it. So if we can fully have high participation, be creative and be creating things and be allowing of it to be what it is, then even better things than this can happen. And I want to give you an example. I dance, and I love to do ballroom dancing. So where I was before, I had ballroom dancing. It's even better here. And I moved here, and I just started going to some of these events. And now, like last night, I was able to attend for a short time an event. And I noticed that I was sat there, and I just had all these wonderful dancers all around me. 2 of my dance partners are now teachers. And that never happened before. I've never had a dance partner that was a teacher. So it got better, and it got better, and it got better. But I wasn't attached. I just show up at a dance in joy. And it just happens. I allow it. I invite it in. It's wonderful. So, you want to create for yourself a very clear picture of what it is you do want. You want to fully participate in that. You want to invite it in, but not be so tied to it that you become angry if it doesn't show up just the way you want it. Because something even greater can emerge when you allow it. When you keep the thought and the picture of it in your mind, and then you allow something, I always say this, or something better. And the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. It's fabulous. The one piece that I'm going to share with you, and I have a handout for you, you're going to love this. One of the ways to make it better, and this works every time, is, and I put it on the brightest paper. I said, do you have any more brighter paper than this? She said, no, this is the brightest we have. And this is how you do it. And you keep yourself in this place no matter what. And I'm going to share it with you before they hand it out. I keep this every day in my prayer time. It's by Abraham Hicks, and it says, get happy and stay that way. And this is quote, we are really advocates of just getting as happy as you can be, which takes care of everything. Even if you don't have any reason to be happy, make it up. Fantasize about it. Make a decision that you are going to be happy one way or another, no matter what. You'll say to yourself, no matter what, I am going to be happy. If I go to a dance and no one asks me to dance, I'm still happy. I'm happy no matter what. If I have to ignore everybody, if I have to never watch TV again, especially the news, if I have to never pick up a newspaper again, I am going to be happy. If I never have to see that person's face again, whoever that is, like my hairdresser, no. I'm going to be happy anyway. If if I have to see that person's face again, I'm going to find something in that face that makes me happy. I have decided I am happy, I am happy, I am happy no matter what. And so it is. And so if you bring those, so bring those forward. This will help you to be high participating in your life, in your creativity, but not to be so attached. Go ahead and hand them out. These are for you to take home if you wish, to share with whoever you want, and especially if you know of someone that's not so happy. But if you know of someone that's really grumpy, they won't like it. They'll look at it and it'll kind of, oops, in here. So focus on what you love, be happy anyway, and this is your assignment for this week. You ready? Once you get your handout. This is your assignment. I like to give assignments because then it gives you something to focus on. I'm going to ask you to fall in love with your life. To fall in love with your life. How do you do that? And this is from Rhonda Byron. She wrote a book called The Power. She was also in the movie The Secret. This is what she said. So how do you fall in love with your life? How do you fall in love with your life? She said, the same way you fall in love with another person. You adore everything about your life. You fall in love with another person by seeing love, by hearing love, by speaking only love. That's how you fall in love with a person. And that is exactly how you are to use the ultimate power of the universe, to fall in love with your life. Every morning I wake up, I'm so happy to be alive. I'm alive. I'm so happy to be alive. You fall in love. Whatever you're doing, whatever is in your day, even if you don't like something, you fall in love with your life. You can look for technology and inventions you love, cafes you like to go to. You can look for stores that you love. Walk down the street through the marketplace, the sidewalk market, and just fall in love with every person you meet. You love everyone and you fall in love with your life. And you look for everything in nature. Trees and birds and stars and flowers and perfumes. Some people don't like perfumes. And colors. Find what you can love. If there's somebody that's driving you nuts and you say, I can't stand this person, find one thing you love about that person. Focus on that, and that will shift, not them, that will shift you. Fall in love with your life. Fall in love with yourself. We're made in that beautiful image and likeness of pure spirit. You are awesome, and you are so loved. You are love itself. So this week I invite you to fall in love with life, and it is the journey I want to share with you. I want to ask you to close your eyes, and I want you to hear these beautiful words as we bring this to a close, called the station. The train station. I'm going to ask for some music. Oh, you're going to play it. Yay. And I'll go right into our meditation time, or I call it our treatment time, to just kind of bring this all together. So just allowing yourselves to fully relax into your heart center. Knowing that as we drive along in our lives, literally between the two lines of discontent and desire, discontent is the place that shows us what it is we do want, and desire is that beautiful message to fall in love with our lives, to love ourselves, and to love everyone. It is the journey of love. And so Robert Hastings wrote this beautiful, very brief poem about life and about the journey. It's called The Station. So tucked away in our subconscious is an idyllic vision. We are traveling by train, and out the windows are passing scenes of children waving at us. There is cattle crossing on the distant hills, and row upon row of corn and wheat, and beautiful flatlands and valleys and mountains, and rolling hillsides as we travel on this train of life. and we even see city skylines. But uppermost in our minds is our final destination. On a certain day, we will pull into the station, and bands will be playing and flags waving. And once we get there, our dreams will come true, and the pieces of our lives will fit together like a completed jigsaw puzzle. And restlessly we pace the aisles, waiting and waiting and waiting on the train of life. We're waiting for the station. And we believe and we think that if we reach the station, that will be it. And we say to ourselves, when I'm 18, I'll be happy. When I buy a new Mercedes 450, I'll be happy. When I put the last child through college, I'll be happy. When I've paid off the mortgage, I'll be happy. When I get a promotion, no, it's when I reach retirement, I will finally be happy. And I'll live happily ever after. But sooner or later we realize that there is no station, no one place for us to arrive. That the true joy, the true juice of life is the journey, and the station is a dream. If constantly outdistance us, this station. So stop pacing the aisles and counting the miles. Instead, go and climb more mountains, and go barefoot more often, and swim in more rivers, and watch more sunsets, and laugh more, and cry more. Life is meant to be lived as we go along, for that final station will come soon enough. And so, my friends, I invite you this week, whoever you are, in any place that is calling you, that you are that divine. You are that divinity. You are that magnificent life. And as we listen to our divine discontent, we are divinely guided to ever more, ever greater experiences. We more clearly know what it is we want whenever something we don't want shows up. It is contrast, and it is given to us as a gift. And so I just recognize that there is one infinite and loving presence forever and ever urging us forward into greater and greater and greater experiences of itself. That we are here to have fun, to be in joy, and to be fully and powerfully present in our lives. As we release the past and we enjoy every minute, we choose happiness no matter what. Even in the face of discontent, we choose happiness, and it literally shifts us into a more fabulous, greater, grandest, the next greatest, grandest version of our becoming. Like the butterfly that emerges from the cocoon and spreads its wings to fly, free and beautiful. That's who we truly be, a beautiful butterfly, free. And so I give thanks for this day. I give thanks for this rain. I give thanks for this center, for all of our centers all over the world. I give thanks that this is the best, most wonderful time to be alive right now. I know that we are emerging, and we are evolving, and we are growing, and we are expanding into the next grandest, greatest version of ourselves as being human, having a divine experience on this planet. And so I give thanks for that. I release this treatment. I say thank you, God, as we say together. And so it is. Now we have another beautiful song.